Today is Wednesday, Parashat Tetze. In the Parashah of this week, there are many Mitzvot that are mentioned. We started already since Sunday going over some of the Mitzvot. Today we'll also continue on that same theme of the Mitzvot in the Parashah. One of the Mitzvot is to make sure that your weights and measures are accurate. That when you sell, let's say you have a store and you're vegetable or fruits and you're selling and you're weighing, you have to make sure that your weights are properly calibrated, that they're accurate. You should not have a weight that is off. So let's say if it's a pound, it should not be a pound less 5%. And you have to be very careful with that. And nowadays we have a government authority that is in charge of weights and measures. And they do visit gas stations and to make sure that the gallon is really a gallon that you're putting into your car. And they visit supermarkets to make sure that the scales that measures the vegetables, the produce that you buy is actually accurate. And this is a mitzvah from the Torah. Of course, it's a logical thing. We could have on our own arrived to that conclusion that a person should be very honest and accurate in his weights and measures, but it's a mitzvah from the Torah. When a person fulfills it as a mitzvah, it has even a higher level of meaning. It's doing the will of Hashem. It used to be, people used to measure oil. Now you buy oil already that's in a bottle, and typically in the old countries, let's say in Morocco, there was a merchant of oil that you came and you brought your pots or your containers, and he would measure with a cup or with a tool, that a vessel that had, let's say, a liter in it, and he would pour it into your pot or your pan or your vessel that you brought. But because of the viscosity of the oil, there's always some oil that is left inside the measuring tool. So typically they would add a little extra to make sure that he's not short. And what they would do also is they would take that vessel and put it upside down into a bucket. And over the week, the bucket would accumulate some of the drops from every person that came to buy oil that was measured for. And that little oil that was left inside at the end of the week could amount to a whole bucket full of oil. What would he do with that bucket of oil? He would take it, that merchant of oil would take it to the synagogue and give it for the needs of the synagogue to be used in the lamps, because they didn't have electricity at the time, or even if they had electricity, they used to have these memorial lamps and these places that they use oil in the synagogue, and that oil was used for community needs. In case somebody was shorted, and you don't know who, maybe one little tiny amount of oil that was not included in the amount that was sold to him, then that would go to use as given as a donation to the needs of the community. And by the way, that's the halakha if somebody wants to do teshuvah. For instance, somebody had a gas station, and people came by and bought gas from him, and it turned out that his gallon was not really properly calibrated. He cheated, whether knowingly or unknowingly, people. And now he wants to make right on it. Where is he going to find all the people that stopped at his gas station to buy gas, to tell them, I'm sorry, I shorted you 1% of the gallon and I'd like to reimburse you the cost. Here's a couple of pennies. He will not be able to find the people. So what's the best? What could he do? He wants to do teshuvah. When you do teshuvah on having wronged someone financially, you have to make good on it. You have to pay what you shorted him. You pay what should have been his, and you inappropriately took it from him. You shorted him on the gas. But where are you going to find the people? So the halakha is, you want to do teshuvah, the next best thing to do than just return it to each individual person, which would be impossible, is to give it for the needs of the community. Not necessarily as charity to one specific person, but for the needs of the community. And the community being as a whole, it's possible that that person that was harmed would be able to benefit from that money that is used for the community. So community needs would take care of everybody that possibly would have been in your station, a gas station, they might benefit for it. This is something that will be used for the good of society, and those people that have come to your station are included in the society, and that way you're not benefiting. So you would evaluate, let's say, how many gallons of gas did you sell during the period that the thing was not calibrated properly, and you evaluate how much money that would be, and that's what you would have to be giving to the community for the needs of the community to make right on that you've even inadvertently cheated people. That is a mitzvah from the Torah, to be careful with your weights and measures. Baruch Adonai le'olam. Amen ve'amen.